Hello dear students, this is Vijay. Today I am going to show you the still life. This still life is done in again poster color. So the object which I have chosen are quite easy one, which you can all can easily access at home. They are books, then apple, then I chose flowers along with the flower vase and oil can. So oil can, then flower with flower vase. So I can use two objects. So and then books and then an apple. Books also I chose two. So near about 5 to 6 objects right now I am having in front of me. Flowers which I chose, they were artificial flowers, but when it comes to you, you can select then natural flowers because I was not having a choice as I was going through the multiple sessions. So I preferred keeping artificial flowers in front of me rather than the original one, but this is a request that you can keep an original flowers in front of you. So right now I'm putting up my outline on the paper. Actually, you notice what I'm drawing right now. I'm drawing an apple along with the books. Actually, an apple and the books were the extreme front of the entire composition. So composition was like an apple and the books were in the extreme front of the composition. So first I chose drawing an apple and the books. Yes, dear students, you also keep this in mind, the objects which are in extreme front. Sometimes showing those objects as a main object of the composition, that becomes a priority. Keeping that in mind, I draw and books and an apple in front of the composition. Now what I'm drawing right now, I'm drawing the oil can. This oil can is an antique piece which I was having. This oil can was in quite old era, so this was not of steel. This was basically painted with an opaque color, that was an oil paint color might have been used on the can. So oil can, when you further when I start coloring, you notice that an oil can is a combination of green and white color. Upper area was in green tone and the bottom area was in white tone. And right now I just showed the handle. And the next part what I'm doing right now, I'm drawing the stem and the petals and the flower and the bird and the connection of the leaves to the stem. The entire set of the flowers, the entire bunch of the flowers which is kept in the flower vase, that also I'm drawing. Actually, I had planned keeping pencils and pen in a pen stand rather than flowers, but again, to remove the monotonousness and the regularity of the work, I chose keeping these flowers inside the pen stand rather than keeping pen and pencil inside the pen stand. So that twist I gave to the composition. When you arrange the things at home, make it sure that you are not arranging the things exactly in front of each other, and also you keep in mind that you don't have to segregate the things in such way that they will not be overlapped on each other anywhere. So you have to make it sure that objects are overlapped, but they are not completely overlapped. So little bit area of an object can be overlapped on each other. Now I'm proceeding ahead with an outline. I'm making it more perfect, the outline. When I was drawing actually the flowers were rose flowers. So when I was drawing rose, you might be seeing what I have done. It is just a rough random outline I have put there. So basically don't waste much time. In my entire demonstration you would notice I finished my outline very fast, because that is the main thing which you also have to keep in your mind, that you will not spend much time on your outline. Because you just have 3 hours in your hand, and spending much time on the outline would not allow you to concentrate on the painting part. So the suggestion is like, make it sure that you are finishing your outline work exactly before 15 minutes or max to max 16 or 17 minutes. When it comes to me, I finish my outline in 15 minutes exactly. This video is a bit fast forwarded, so I'm making it sure that each and every instruction is reaching to you. So voiceover I gave it after the recording and not while recording. So right now I'm just on the stage where I'm completing my outlining work, making it sure that outline is perfect, because outline is the main soul of the composition. So you also remember, outlining part is a very crucial one. if your outline is not perfect, dear students, recommendation is not to proceed ahead. Well, now my outlining is done. I am proceeding ahead with the background part now first. So first I chose the vermilion hue, although the background was in some other color, but then I chose giving the red effect to the background. So now I took a vermilion red, then Persian blue a little bit, and then the black I added, and then I'm covering the entire backdrop first, because backdrop is like, it's a very big area of the paper, and if I believe that if more white tone of the paper is reduced, now I added more black. If more white area of the paper is reduced, naturally one can concentrate on the core objects. So I'm just filling up this very fast with a brush number 6 to 8, and round brush it is. So without going very close to the object, because my brush is bigger one, so I'm not going to go very close to the object right now, keeping this in mind that I should not break the outline. So having means I just wanted to be a more organized, and I wanted to remain the discipline, so I did not try to color with a bigger brush. Now I chose a smaller brush, and now I'm going close to the object, and I'm dealing with the edges of the object. That becomes quite better for me to remain in the discipline, and give proper justice to the object, and to be a more systematic. Now going ahead with the next part of the demonstration, the backdrop which I am coloring. Please pay attention how keen when I am coloring the background. So here I am now, and right now I am treating the handle, and then actually this main object was this one. The can was a symmetrical object. Rest of the objects were like non-symmetrical almost, because of its angle and the position. And now treating this was very challenging part, because I had to show background, keeping in mind I had to leave the white space for the coloring the stem, and then the leaves and the petals and the overall flower rather. And that there I used little bit technique of dry brush effect. You can also do the same thing. Now I'm proceeding with an apple. So while dealing with the apple, I took a vermilion hue, then Persian blue, and then burnt sienna, and lemon yellow. Now I'm starting my coloring of an apple from the darker area. So there is no fixed rule like from which angle you should start, but I chose dealing or completing work from the dark side and then traveling towards the light. But individual can have its own rule of coloring. You can travel from light to dark. I believe means I have practiced traveling from dark to light. Now I chose the lemon yellow and chrome yellow. This I felt giving an first, because the lemon yellow and chrome yellow intensity is such that you cannot apply this color later on, because the intensity would not allow you to show its effect. So first applying lemon yellow and chrome yellow and yellow ochre. Now little bit tint of vermilion hue I added. You can add orange also if you want. And this is the way I am spreading across the spreading all my tint on its skin, keeping in mind there is a highlight. So without applying any tone on the highlight, I am just moving my brush and dealing very carefully. And here main thing is like you have to keep on observing, and here you will still life is basically of the observation. If you want to develop the ability of observation, then it's a still life is recommended. So right now I'm continuously observing towards an apple and trying to match my trying to create the shade in my palette. So now I'm giving the reflection tone. It's very important to give a reflection tone, reflected tone. So giving the reflected tone by adding white and a little bit touch of blue and black and blue burnt sienna, So these all shade I added. So whatever reflection I was finding on its skin, because apple surface is such which is shiny, and keeping same application all over throughout, making it sure that I have brush number strictly in my hand 2 or 3 and not crossing to the limit, not going beyond that brush size, because dear students, it is very much important when you color, you have to maintain your outline, otherwise you will lose your interest. If you learn that your outline is not in control, you may lose your interest in the middle. So it's very much important to keep lower size brush in your hand and to maintain your outline while coloring. So as I was telling, I am using vermilion hue, then yellow ochre, then cadmium yellow, and now I am giving the patches to show the intensity of that red tone, because somehow I have to make it sure that whatever tones right now I am observing, the same tone I want to put up on an apple. Then only it starts looking more and more real. Well, I am putting right now highlight by adding a little bit white in yellow. That was the stem area, and again, basically right now I'm dealing in a light tone. I finished coloring dark area, reflection tone, middle tone, and now I'm dealing right now in a light tone. So more and more light tone I'm using. While doing this, you have to make it sure that white should not be much. White may spoil the actual effects, so you have to be very much careful. Now I'm dealing the inside, means from where the stem was coming out from the apple. That area I am dealing right now, making gray shade. You will ask me why gray shade, sir? Because somewhere you have to kill the intensity. So if you kill the intensity, the throughout that brightness, means what you would call the intensity, may not allow you to have a look at the object or an nature object. So somewhere you have to make it sure that the intensity of the color is decreased, and to decrease the intensity of the color, I am putting the gray color. I'll repeat once again, this instruction is very important. Why somewhere the gray colors are important? Because all over, if I keep applying red tone, like generally apple is in red color, so everybody would think that I have to keep applying red, and all of a sudden while applying red, why gray color? Gray is going to be it will start showing its natural look, because when you keep anything on any surface, like anything I mean to say any object which has a shiny surface, you would always notice that surface starts catching up whatever is in and around. So apple was kept on a book, and the reflection of the book, somewhere it was coming in on its skin of the apple. At the same time, surface of the book was also shining. Further in my demonstration, you will see that part also, where I have shown the reflection of an apple on the book. So right now, dealing very much carefully to the surface of the apple, trying to show more and more realistic effect, because somewhere the apple was out, and somewhere it was up and down. So that natural feel I am trying to give on it, and actually I want to be very much careful when I am dealing with a white color. That is a highlight area. So usually you also might be experiencing that light. It means light does not mean there is only one light. Middle light, then the light, then the highlight. So in light also there are 3 lights. Then when it comes to middle tone, it's a upper middle, middle and lower middle. When it comes to dark tone, again there is a dark, then the deepest one, and only regular, means above dark level, not very much dark. So and there is one more, the reflection tone, and in reflection tone also you will have 2 to 3 lights, 2 to 3 varieties. So near about 10 to 12 shades, like you will have to show. See, I applied more gray because same reflection of the book was falling on its skin. There also I am applying gray. There also I am applying. I have to reduce the intensity of the red. Means I have to balance the intensity of the red. If it's too high, it will prick my eyes. It won't allow me to concentrate on the still life. So keeping that in mind, I am just decreasing the intensity of the color. I want to just keep somewhere. I somehow means at a glance, one should be able to make out, yes, it's an original apple, a real apple is kept. At the same time, keeping this also in mind, that my work should not be look like a photography. Otherwise, what is the difference between the photographer and artist? So patchwork is also important. So keeping that in mind, I am giving patches now. You can see how gray patches I am just rolling over the skin, and when I am applying my color, making it sure that I am applying just butter on the braid. So the thickness of the color should not be too much watery, to not be thick. That should be in the middle somewhere. Like it should be like a paste. It should be like a paste. It should allow your brush to move smoothly. Smoothly does not mean with too much watery also. And here I'm yeah, one more thing. When you take the apple, now the apple which was in front of me, that was with the combination of yellow and red. If you go in market, and sometime you may come across with an apple which has a combination of completely crimson red. Sometimes if you go in market, you will find and an apple is not in crimson red, it's in vermilion hue, or it's a poster red. And here you can see what I did right now. I tried merging the edge in the background. Yes, it's very important. It will show you the real look. Your picture will look real. If you keep this in mind, somewhere try to merge your edge with the background. So merge the edge of an apple in the background. So if you merge this edge in the background, the cutting and pasting part, it goes away and natural feel comes in the picture. So if you want to show that fill, now you can see that effect is coming out. Somewhere I'm dragging the background dark tone directly in a lighter area. That's very much one needs a lot of patience while doing that. You cannot go with a keeping not in mind that you are dealing in a light area. You have to be very much careful. You can use smaller size brush here, as I am dealing right now to the stem, because most of the time I have seen students, they neglect this small aspect, but I will tell you, this small aspect only keep on adding beauty to your work. So please do not underestimate any of the aspect of your still life. That will develop your observation ability also. Right now I am putting up the highlight on the stem. The stem was having highlight, so right now I am adding white. I am adding highlight, and you can see I have made a gray tone again. In this video I have made it sure that my palette is also seen, and right now I am applying my shade on the surface, the cover of the book. So I have created a gray shade. That cover was also in gray tone, and putting up the patches of the gray on the page. You would ask, sir, so much dark tone? Yes, I have to give dark. I have to give. It's not a dark actually. It's a middle tone, because sometime I start traveling from dark to light. You might have seen on the apple, and sometime I start from the middle tone. Initially I apply middle tone everywhere, and then just on it I just apply light tone and dark tone, and that's it. My work is done. So right now I'm just applying middle tone on its surface of the book, and later on going into the depth where I'm showing the shadow of an apple. So now you can see I applied deep tone, very much deep it was, and I'm mixing also, and the same deep tone I'm putting up on an apple also. So I'll get more 3D effect, more real effect. So it's more deep tone I'm applying right now on its skin, rather saying the word skin, I would say overall an apple. and yeah, now you can see it's more realistic effect has started taking place, and taking care of the small aspect wherever now I put the dark tone to the stem, and all of a sudden a good feel has started coming. It is looking more real, more and more real. And you know, you always have to keep touching your brush to the palette, students. It's very much important. One cannot be lethargic, or one cannot neglect, and keep washing your palette continuously. That really makes a difference. That really makes a difference. It's a good sign that if you are continuously changing your water, when water becomes muddy, you are continuously washing your palette. When the palette, there is no column in a palette to mix the shade, so that that insists you to create the new shade if the things are very much fresh in front of you. I have arranged all the colors in front of my work area. You can see the entire color shades are in front of my palette, and right now you can, as I mentioned, like I have shown my reflection. My reflection in the sense, I have shown the reflection of an apple on the surface of the book. So you can see the reflection of an apple is falling on its skin, falling on the surface. So here it is right now. Yeah, right now I'm just dealing with the next book that was also a bit part of the book which was below the book. Actually both the books were same. Both the books were same. The title of the book were same. Thinking was the title of the book. So right now I'm again dealing with the background, dear students. Background is very beautiful area which usually is ignored by everybody, but I will tell you, background is very interesting thing. It is just like a composition. Background is just like a right now I'm dealing again the darker part of the pages that was into the shadow, so again gray color. But gray does not mean black and white, huh? It's very much important. Right now in my palette it's a white, yellow ochre, ultramarine blue, and a little bit touch of black. So these shades are there right now, and proceeding ahead with same mixing technique, and actually the page was a little bit up, the cover page was a little bit up, and rest of the pages were down. So that feel also I have tried showing. That effect also in my demonstration you would notice ahead. You are going to notice that part also ahead in the demonstration, that how I have tried showing that part where the book is the cover page is a little bit upward, and I have shown the edge also, how thick the edge of the page is, how much is the thickness, whether the page is 250 GSM or 240 GSM or 260 GSM, that one can easily make out. So this much minute detailing I have shown, and this much if you also show, I am 100% sure you definitely achieve the very good effect of the picture. Whatever shade I had applied towards a middle tone, dark tone, simply by adding a little bit white in the same shade I have applied the lighter side. So you can see the difference between the light tone and the dark tone. So one side of the book you will find in a middle tone, and other side of the book you will find in the light tone. So one can easily make out from which angle, from which direction the light is falling on its entire composition. So here here actually you will find, all of a sudden you will notice that why I have applied light tone. You will ask me this question, but why I applied? Because the cloth which was below the book, the backdrop, the foreground was in cadmium yellow. That I wanted to show in cadmium yellow. Actually entire composition was in, means the entire backdrop was in cadmium yellow, but foreground I wanted to deal in a cadmium yellow, and background I wanted to deal in red. So keeping that in mind, gray tone which I was making with a combination of black and white, There I added in the same palette, in the same mixture, I added lemon yellow also and chrome yellow also, a little bit, because every time you have to keep intensity of the color in control. If the intensity go out of your control, then the picture will look very much odd. And here only most of the people they make mistake. They leave its control. So you have to control the intensity of the color. The intensity of the color should not be too much hard. So here I am going towards the foreground now. Yes, I told you like cloth was in a lemon yellow or cadmium yellow. So somehow I wanted to show that the yellow cloth is in front. And you know, I continuously kept playing on this area. Continuously I kept playing on this area. You can see right now I have applied the lemon yellow, chrome yellow and white on it. And later on took the little bit burnt sienna. Then in the same chrome yellow and lemon yellow I added a yellow ochre, burnt sienna and a little bit touch of black. You can see now I am dealing in a dark tone. Yeah, there where the background and foreground they are meeting to each other, there I have started applying paint. Yeah, you can see that very much towards the darker side. Yes, that you can see right now I am putting up the shadow. Entire shadow part right now I am showing. Entire shadow part. So shadow of the books first. Kept on playing on the shadow. Yes, filled up all area because the entire patch was in dark tone. Entire patch was in, now here also the entire patch was in dark tone. Yes, you can see now very much it's clear now. That side there was a deep tone. I mean to say entire thing was in deep tone because that side that part was in shadow, and this side, this area was in light tone. But at the same time I cannot leave that light tone everywhere, otherwise picture will look very much gaudy. So only where the objects are, there only the intensity of the color is fresh. Rest of the area it's all dull, and it is deliberate attempt. Let me repeat, it is deliberate attempt. Usually we feel it's yellow cloth, so let's show yellow all over. No, don't do that. Yellow is having very highest intensity. Yellow and red colors are such, they are having very much highest intensity, so you have to keep them in control. Now you can see and look at the object, you will find yes, cloth is in yellow color. At the same time everywhere the shadow is fallen. That is the reason why it's a deep tone, and the only little bit area where there is a light is falling there, that area is in the light tone. So again changing the tones of the color. Again applying dark color on the background. Keep on playing on background. You can see now you can concentrate more on the more towards the object now, because I made my background more deep, and this is what the recommendation for you also, that when you paint, when you draw and paint, making it sure the background is in deep tone. Naturally object starts coming ahead, so it does not mean the light background is bad, but it's very easy to show the result, and it's very good to have a look on the core area. That my still life I can easily have a look, and one can easily see the effort taken on the object. This flower was in burnt sienna color. This the bottom part was in burnt sienna color, so that was the lighter area. Now this I colored in the middle tone, and finally you would say that side is going to be the darkest one. No, I did apply dark, but it is keeping in mind that there is going to be reflection again. Reflection light is going to fall on that part also. See, I have applied dark tone there, but I had what? You can see here again reflection tone is there, which is not at all burnt sienna. This is again grey, having the color of burnt sienna. You just have to keep it easier for you, light, middle and dark. So this much is very much better for you to understand. Like, one should be able to see the dimension of the work, dimension of the object. By looking at the still life, you can easily make out. If I look at the books, you will find light tone, dark tone, middle tone, reflection tone. If you look at an apple, you find the same thing: light tone, middle tone, dark tone and reflection tone. Again, going ahead with the can now. And this is how I have completed my still life one, which is still life work. It was quite an interesting experience. Basically, can took a lot of time because it was in two tone and dealing on the same light. That too, the bottom area was in white color. Actually, you know that in every still life you would notice one thing, that you are learning some or other thing new, and that keeps you making master in the field. So it is said, very much rightly said, like practice makes you perfect. So humble request to you, like keep on practicing and keep on practicing. Wherever and whenever you find any brush, any paper, any pencil, any object to observe and draw and paint, please do that. Keep in your bag various grades of pencil, keep in your bag various surfaces of the paper. Wherever and whenever you get time, keep on rendering, keep on observing and keep on sketching. So that's all for this demonstration. Thank you very much for observing the demonstration. Thanks a lot. See you students. Bye bye.